Welcome to the Longest Take podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Longest Take podcast. In today's episode, we are joined by Derek Braasch and MC August. Derek Braasch is the CEO, president of Chivi's Film Productions, and MC August is an esteemed novelist and writer of the upcoming movie, The Clown Dies at Midnight, Clown Harder. Please welcome both to today's podcast. All right, so I love to kick it off this way, but what are your top 5 favorite movies? This is for both of you.
Who wants to go first? I guess I'll jump
Mike,
in.
go ahead.
All right. Well, number one's the Blues Brothers. That's never changed since I was a kid. I have fond memories. My dad actually was watching that live when they did the jump scene on the 96th Street Bridge.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like the best road movie ever.
Oh yeah.
And then number 2 is probably Almost Famous. Yeah, the Cameron Crowe movie, pretty much. And then Youth Cars from 1980. I think that's like the funniest movie ever made. And then a really bad movie called The Pirate Movie from 82. I don't know if you guys saw that one with Kristen McNichol.
Which movie, Mike? I'm sorry, it was kind of stopping.
Oh, the Pirate Movie from 1982 with Kristen McNichol and Christopher McNichol.
Oh, Blue Lagoon?
No, the other one, the Pirate Movie. It's like one of the worst movies ever made, but it's like one of my 5 favorites.
I think I've seen that now.
Yeah, and then probably either Pulp Fiction or Thief or Boogie Nights would be number 5. It's really hard to pick like this 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cheat here. I can't pick 5. I'll just give you a handful because I'm so bad when it comes to this. But so here's a handful. I just like Rocky and Rocky Balboa. I love anything with Stallone. Christmas Vacation, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. I got a couple more. Saturday Night Fever, Point Break from 1991, Grand Canyon, Evil Dead 2, which is the reason why I make films, Goodfellas, Expendables, and probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. Now, I have more than that, but those are just a handful. It's hard for me to pick 5, but kind of like a barrage of different genres. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good to, you pick like a little bit here, a little bit there, just kind of a well-rounded for both of your answers, honestly. And a pirate movie, I need to watch that. You said it's one of the worst of all time, so I gotta get around to that.
It's a Ken Anakin movie.
Yeah. I
think he was trying to spoof movies, but since he's a serious director, it came off as a serious film when it came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
one
awesome.
of the songs is called "Pumping and Blowing," so you get an idea what it is.
Yeah. All right. This is another question for both of you, but how did the concept of The Clown Dies at Midnight come about? The original, the short, and then like basically, how did you two get to know each other and start working together?
Well, I've known Derek since the 90s when we went to college together, and I had an idea for a grindhouse action comedy starring a sleazy gambling clown and thought it would be a good fit for Chivi's. That's how it came about.
Yeah, I met Mike. It's South Suburban College. I think it was like 1994, 95, 96 is when I went to South Suburban College in South Holland. That's where I met Mike.
Yeah, it's when The Usual Suspects came out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, 94, 95.
Nice. And then I guess I'll bring this question up here. I had it a little later, but so you did the first Clown Dies at Midnight. What inspired you both to work together on a full feature based on this concept? How did that come about?
Derek wanted to do a feature with the clown, and I thought it would be fun to have the clown and the hitman from the original short team up in order to stay alive. So it's basically like a silly, bloody, raunchy buddy comedy filled with clowns, hookers, and hitmen. That's a pretty good description.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So after Clown 1 was done, Mike had the script ready for part 2 a while ago, a long time ago. And I was busy with so many projects, and then eventually I'm like, all right, let's make part 2. So about a year and a half ago, I said, Mike, I think I'm getting ready to get this made. And I asked him, hey, say, can you do one thing? Can you add in like a musical number? Chibi's has never done a musical number. So he added that. And then that we went from there. And now we're like in the course of trying to get this thing made.
Awesome. And speaking of that, so Clown 2 seems to be your most ambitious project to date. So outside of this one, which is obviously going to be challenging, what would you say your most challenging project has been up till now?
I would say probably my first feature, which is the icing. That one, the guy that shot that said how well of a film for my first time being a director, we had just so many locations. We were like filming for 20 hours and no sleep. Like that was like bulldog tenacity. We were going at a full force. That was probably my hardest, but I had like the most, like a lot of learning experience in that one, because that was kind of film school for me. So the icing was probably the toughest one. Trying to gel everyone, because now it's at the point where I'm kind of comfortable more. I know how to get schedules together, try to get money. So like I would say the icing, even though we were successful, that one was probably the most challenging one up to now. But Clown 2 was probably the biggest one, just because we got a dance number, fight choreography, tons of costumes, and then tons of characters. So this one, even though we have only 12 days left with Indiegogo, we haven't reached our goal. We're going to come back and do another Indiegogo, because that's how challenging it's been, you know. And then also the market's very saturated. You get so many people doing GoFundMe's and Indiegogos, so that's what makes it tough as well. But we're going to push through. Yeah.
I believe in the project. I know you're gonna get there.
Yeah, definitely.
And to piggyback off of the icing, so I read on IMDb, I don't know if you put in this trivia or not, but in 2015 there was a sequel written. How come that was never made, and what was the sequel going to be about?
So actually the sequel is written by the same writer, my friend David Myers. We were going to go with it again, kind of the same scenario, but my buddy that wrote it, we were kind of arguing because he wanted to take out like the sex and the gunplay and all that. He wanted to really make it like more innocent, which you can't do. You kind of have to up the ante. So we were trying to work on that, like adding some stuff, trying to convince him to do that. But while we were doing that, we were ready to have a script reading, and our lead actor Tony Marino messaged me. I was getting out of the shower. We're supposed to have a meeting. I see a long message, and he goes, "Hey man, I'm just not digging the script at all. I just can't do this. I'm so sorry, and I just have to recast me. I understand." And I'm thinking, no, I'm not gonna recast him. I'm just gonna not make this. And thankfully that worked out, because I'm glad we didn't, because that led me to make the Torture of the Flesh, which would have been a better movie and deliver the goods. So that's how it came about. Like, so kind of, I was kind of disappointed, like, oh, Tony Marino's dropping out, but he did me a favor, because now it would have not got us to Torture the Flesh. So it was kind of a happy accident. So yeah. So
awesome. Yeah, maybe. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, and we couldn't make the icing, making it like my friend, he wanted something that was like, because he's kind of got more religious. He wanted something his family can see, and we can't make it we have to make something the audience wants. And so we had to kind of like, it wasn't going to work out in that sense. But then when Tony says, "Hey man, I got to drop out the writing. I'm not happy with the story." He didn't really like it. And I was like, "Oh man." And I'm like, "Screw it. I'm just gonna team up and just make another film, write something else." So it worked out. It worked out for us. So
good, yeah. And I have it somewhere back here.
Yeah.
Oh, got Torture the Flesh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, thank you, and thanks for your support. Yeah. No, we're glad it worked out for us. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Glad that it did.
Yeah.
And now going over to Michael. So, whether it's your shorts or your novel that you wrote, or novels, I think it was just one novel, or have you written multiple novels?
Just the one novella so far. Small War of 80.
Okay, yeah. So out of everything you've written thus far, all your stories, what has been your personal favorite?
Probably the short stories, Postcards from Chernobyl, How to Catch Crawfish as Told by Rufus Wheeler, and probably the novella we just mentioned, S'more War of 84.
Yeah, which I was telling you earlier, I definitely want to read that. I heard you talk about it in another podcast, and I gotta just do it. Stop procrastinating and read. But I'm glad you mentioned Postcard, because that's my favorite short story from that collection that you shared with me. So
I seem to favor the sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, but that's something I would love to see in like a movie one day. The Postcards from Chernobyl, but it'd be hard because obviously, it takes place in another country. It'd be hard to emulate that elsewhere, but yeah, I really like that stuff.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
And then we talked about, so you used to be a part of different podcasts and other things that you could consider film related. Just go into a little bit of that work that you've done in the past, and just kind of.
I did the podcast for AfterBuzz TV. I was known as the Catches of the Week guy on a podcast. I did Breaking Bad, I did Boardwalk Empire. Then I ended up doing Mad Men near the end, and then Sons of Anarchy. So I did those four. Yeah. I basically every week just talked about the meaning of the colors and stuff, and symbolism and stuff, and subtext in the dialogue. Catches of the week.
Oh, nice. So basically, you're analyzing what was just presented with these shows, and you just kind of discuss different elements of it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think some of those shows are still on YouTube.
Oh, nice. And it's AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzzTV.com. Yeah.
Okay. And what did you like about that? If you enjoyed it, you could have hated it, and I wouldn't know. But what were some of the things that you liked with being able to do that?
Just talking about your favorite shows, basically. And I love Breaking Bad. It's like one of the best shows ever.
I agree.
Yeah. Boardwalk Empire too was fantastic, but it didn't get the recognition it should have. I met Forsyth, Forsyth from it, and he hated working on that show, and I was like shocked, because that was one of the best things he worked on. And he hated working on the show.
Did he say?
Yeah, that's the thing I got when he worked on Boardwalk Empire. That's the signature I got for him at Flashback Weekend. I know Derek knows Forsyth from Flashback Weekend. And I says, oh man, I says, that had to be fun working on this. He said, no, not at all. And he's didn't want to talk about the show. So I'm like, oh, okay. But he was a really cool guy. Forsyth, but for some reason he hated working on that show.
Sometimes conditions are just rough. Something like that. It's a big production, probably long days, and the fact he didn't want to go into detail means that he probably really did just not enjoy himself on there.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned Flashback. So Derek, I know you've been getting booths at conventions for quite a few years now. What are some of your favorite conventions, and why are they your favorite to show up to?
So all the conventions me and Nina have done, we've really loved. They've been great. But I can tell you, Cinema Wasteland definitely is one of ours, because they definitely support the indie guys. Every time we're there, they'll show one or two of our films, and they'll show it either 1, 2, or 3 days. And it helps get more eyeballs on that audience that likes those type of films. Cinema Wasteland's great. We just did one last week. We do like Days of the Dead. We do like Flashback Weekend. We get a good turnout. We try to get our film shown there, but we do still like those conventions. We're doing a new one. We do MightyCon. The MightyCon is awesome too. Randy Lee Beasley, he's does one. It's for artists and filmmakers, and that's a fun one. It's very affordable, and it's fun to do. And we're doing for the first time, it's called Gross Fest. It's August 1st and 2nd. So me and Nina are going to have a table there. Tables are cheap. That's truly low independent filmmakers like us, which we're excited about. And then not only they're going to show Torch of the Flesh. They're just a great group of guys. And I just ran into them again this past weekend at Cinema Wasteland. So we're looking forward to going to Pittsburgh for that. And then after that, me and Nina are making a trip going to Philadelphia and doing the whole Rocky thing. So we're excited about that. So we're doing that in August. So, and then we're doing our neighbors at our neighbors at Cinema Wasteland. They're doing they were passing out flyers. They're doing for the first time their own convention, and we just said we pulled the plug and like we're gonna do it. So we just ordered a table, and it's called Put in the Bay. It's in somewhere in Ohio, and it's on an island, and they have an after party in a pirate ship. So Nina and me like, let's try it and see if we can do good. So we're doing a lot of conventions. We're doing that in June, 2 months.
Nice.
So,
and so talk a little bit more about that that pirate ship convention. I know it's not a pirate convention, but the after party. But what's their focus and like kind of?
It's a little bit of everything. It's when I looked, it's like it's filmmakers, artists, like supernatural. It's a little bit of everything. I'm trying to remember what their poster said, but I just saw it was a little bit of everything. You got to take a ferry to the island, and then they set there. It's an island, and then there's and then the after party, which you pay a little extra, is on a pirate ship, like food and drinks and stuff like that. So this will be the first time doing something like that. So, and then we do, like I said, we met them. They bought a movie from us. I bought one of their movies. And I just actually did a review of their movie, like a quick review on Facebook. So kind of like helping each other out. So we're excited about that. We're very excited about doing a festival like that. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's fascinating to be on an island like that. What was the movie you reviewed? What was the movie called?
It was called Final Cut. And one of the guys whose table is next to me, he was in the movie. I'm trying to. His name was Eric something. I can't remember his last name. See if I can find it. But he was one of the guys that's going to be running that festival. So.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I remember you posting about that one.
Yeah.
I always see your reviews that you do. And at Cinema Wasteland, what movies? So outside of your movies, do you remember what else they played this year?
You know what? So they played. I wasn't there to watch the movies because I was at my booth, but Lynn Lowry, who was in Torture of Flesh, they did play I Drink Your Blood and Shivers, 2 films she was in. They did a Q&A. They did some other indie films. I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember the list. But I do remember the 2 movies that Lynn Lowry was in. They played those. So that happens during like when the conventions happen. So we kind of, me and Nina are watching our table. But we did go for our 2 movies, kind of like support that. That was like after the show was done. So yeah, and he does a good. And Cinema Wasteland, it's the nice thing about it, it's not just horror. They do drama, they do crime, thriller, exploitation. So they're a little bit of everything, which is nice.
Nice, awesome. And Michael, as a writer, have you ever gotten a booth at any convention? And 2, do you ever go to any like author-centric convention?
I haven't gone to any besides Flashback Weekend because I know there's authors there, like Evanson and people like that. The local authors are always there, but I haven't actually done my own booth yet. Something I should do in the future. I know there's AuthorCon too. There's a lot of good ones, and Scares They Care. Those, a bunch of the good ones. Yeah. Haven't done any yet.
Do you know? Because AuthorCon is like in another state, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember where, but do you know any like AuthorCon Illinois versions that are out there?
I think the local Horror Writers Association sets one up, but I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, I think there's one in Pittsburgh. I think, yeah, I'm not really sure where they're all at. And then they got the big convention, the StokerCon, but yeah.
Oh, StokerCon, where's that take place?
I'm not even sure. Yeah, but it's something I'm going to get into like down the road though.
Yeah,
more involved in, like Derek does with the boots and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Once you start publishing more projects, you got your short collection, you got your novella. Once you just start getting more of that out there, you could put up a booth and.
Exactly.
Yeah, conventions have been such a really good avenue, not only to get people a platform to like release stuff, like when they have their artist alleys and these other booths you could get, but it also helps you connect and network with fellow creatives. And that's been probably one of the coolest things that I've personally noticed. And honestly, I mean, that's how I met Derek, was at Flashback Weekend last year. that was really cool. So love to see that you guys like connecting in conventions like that.
Mhm.
And then this question's a loaded question. So each of you take turns, right? But where do you see yourself in 5 years? And you can answer this professionally, like in your fields, or maybe even personally if there's something in particular that you're like, you know what, in 5 years I want to be doing this, or I want to be here. So whoever wants to go first.
Mike.
Me first. Well, hopefully I'm still writing books. I mean, I'm doing 2 more story collections. I'm doing those back to back. Then I have another novella planned. That's about a girl who gets involved in a cult. Another novella, and then I have a novel planned. So, I mean, take it after those and see where I'm at after those, which will probably take 5 years because I write slow.
Yeah, and with those short story collections, is there a theme? Because your previous work, there's like a loose theme kind of connecting these stories, I think. But for these,
It's like an 80s influence, like that 80s vibe, like that fun nonsense vibe. That's what I go for. I just try to write something that's going to make the readers happy, try to entertain. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do. And then maybe one more Clown Dies at Midnight movie, because I already told Derek ideas for the end of the 3rd one, if we get that far. So we'll see what happens.
So for me, probably the next 5 years, I see myself drinking RC, eating pork rinds, and watching Stallone movies. No, honestly, I think next 5 years, I still pushing movies. Hopefully, some of my films will be getting distribution, getting more eyeballs on it. One of the things I also want to do, another film, is I'm actually going to start writing this summer's Murder for Pleasure 2 sequel to that. So I already have kind of blueprints. We kind of wrote stuff on our phone. So I do want to do that. But as much as I'm a horror fanatic, I love horror as much as like the horror fans of these horror shows. I love action and martial arts. So I do want to pursue writing an action film. I love like Lethal Weapon, John Wick. I like Donnie Yen. I like Jackie Chan. Drawing blank, but a lot of the Asian cinema, I like a lot of the actors from there. So I do like to make something like that, which would be harder than the other films I've been making, because you got like heavy fight choreography, you need insurance, so I do want to make a nice action film, even if it's something short, so I can just get my feet wet with that. But I do want to do that. So
with Clown 2, I think that's an awesome opportunity for you to because you said there's going to be fight choreography. So I think that it's going to be a great opportunity to like really test the waters. Like, hey, how well can I do this?
And we got a great guy that's doing the fight choreography, Mark McGowan. He's doing our fight choreography. He's actually this month or so, he's going to start scheduling the actors just to go over stuff at his gym, I think in Aurora. So he's going to start working with these actors, because some, like Jimmy Shea, he's one of the leads, and he even says he's not a fighter, so he wants to make sure everything's set right and feels like comfortable. He wants it to make it look good. So Mark's going to make sure everyone comes through and does a good job. So, and whatever days Mark sets with his crew, or the actors, if I could be there, definitely want to be there. So he's taking charge of that. It's kind of nice. He's gonna be in charge of setting up all those rehearsals. So
yeah, and
that'll be good.
And with filming a fight scene, how do you what's your approach going to be like? Because there's so many ways you could do it. Ways to cut. You could do it the Raid/John Wick way and just fluid long takes. I mean, what do you envision for?
You know what? So I know like doing fast cuts makes it more frantic and everything. Sometimes fast cuts can help kind of cover or mask if the fighting's not the best. But I was watching one of my favorite podcasts, and I don't watch many podcasts, and it was Scott Adkins, who's an amazing martial artist and actor. It's called The Art of Action Artist, and he was talking about he prefers fight scenes in a wide shot, where you see the fighting take place, where you can see everything. Yes. And I like that too. I like the fast pace, but seeing in a 2-shot wide shot, you're seeing in no tricks, you're seeing it right there. And you can't hide anything. So I kind of want to do that for clown. Of course, I'll see what Mark comes up with and what our DP thinks, but I don't mind like some camera movement because I do like moving the camera. But like if there's a fight scene between Carlo and the clown and the one of the characters is the fucking animal, I kind of want to see it in the wide, So, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to making it look good. So
yeah,
and we got a great script. Mike wrote a great script. Everyone's loving it. So I think like we're gonna have a killer film. Like I said, right now we're like 10 days away, and the money's not there. It's like I said, it's oversaturated with so many Indiegogos. But me and Jimmy right now, and Nina, my wife, we're gonna meet. Jimmy's writing a couple teasers, and we're gonna like do something, make some quick and cool trailers to probably entice people when we do the Indiegogo again, because we're pushing the filming back. Instead of starting next month, we're going to start the end of the summer. That gives us 3 more months to prepare and raise money, and I think we can do it, so
yeah. And with a teaser, I think that you could look at either you could just create something inventive or look at pieces from the script and just something really interesting to kind of put a focus on. So people watch this teaser and they're like, oh, that was pretty dope.
Yeah. Well, just like the teaser, Sean, that you edited for us, I want to have something to play because I'm having everyone is so excited to see the Torture of the Flesh. Why not put like a little teaser about Clown 2? So like that kind of helps. So we get people excited, like just to plant the seed in their brain, like, oh, Clown 2 is coming out. So that was a big help when you guys did that, when you did that. So we want to have that premiere at the theater when we showed it in October. So this past October.
Yeah, maybe the next thing you could film is do a fight scene between like 2 clowns, or do something like that, like a small short, and
yeah,
that would be really
no, that would.
So really quick, I wanted to touch base on Murder for Pleasure 2. So I saw the first one. I'm just wondering, like, what kind of drew you to go back to that story?
Well, so it was kind of funny. People in the past make jokes, hey, we'll make a Murder for Pleasure 2. I'm like, yeah, Torture Flesh 2. I never really thought about it. But so my distributors, we got distribution for Icing Murder for Pleasure. And then they're ready to take on Torture Flesh, which I haven't made the announcement. People know that we're getting distribution. They're working on it now. The subtitles are doing that. So that's going to be released soon. But before that, the distributor asked us, hey, Derek, did you ever think of making Murder for Pleasure 2, like, maybe because that's hot, it's gonna sell, especially on the cuff of like Terrifier, you should make that. I'm like, and I'm like, I'm already in the midst of Clown 2 and this and that, and I had some people tell me, Derek, maybe do Murder for Pleasure 2 now, and because that's what's hot right now. I'm like, but I was so invested. It's like sometimes I'm stubborn. I'm like, no, let me push through the Clown, and then my ass was saying, I'll do 2 features in the summer. I don't know why I said that. I think it was I was being over, which is not going to happen. So I said, no, we're going to push. I was telling some people that even though they still want to make Clown 2, like, why don't you do this Murder for Pleasure 2? Right now the market's hot. I'm like, so I said, no, let's do Clown 2. Everyone's vested. I don't want to like let everyone down. I said, while we're making the Clown, I'll slowly start writing the next month or two. I'll start writing the script for Clown or for Murder for Pleasure 2. That's how it came about. We're kind of like the springboard was like my distributors saying that, and like my buddy's like, dude, you should make that, like tons of nudity and gore. So I will write something this summer, while we're making the Clown. So
okay,
yeah,
interesting. And so what I took away from watching the first Murder for Pleasure was it inspired by the show Dexter by any chance?
That's so weird you mentioned that. The lead actor in that movie, and so many people said, dude, I still have yet to see Dexter, and I need to watch it. They said, you got to watch Dexter. This reminds them of Dexter, and I know they released a new season of it, which I got to go back and watch it. I'm more of it. I'm 95% movies, 5% TV shows. So I need to watch Dexter, but you're not the only one. I've had a handful of people say remind of Dexter, so I do got to check that out. I do.
Yeah, because the whole like inner monologue and kind of having like a code with their killings or whatever. But when you mentioned about doing a sequel to that, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But that could also be ambitious. That, like you said, I think the climate's good for it.
Yes.
And speaking of Terrifier, so Terrifier 3, one of the most insane things about its release is that it was released essentially independently in the sense that it was unrated. And up until now, that's like unheard of because no distribution chain is like, I'm not going to put, this movie's not going to make any money. I'm not going to put it in theaters. But Eli Roth is actually working on a new company called the Horror Section. And what his goal is to partner with iconic events and try to fund and get movies like that out the door. So it really is like a market right now or soon for like unrated, gritty, like horror projects.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, that was probably the most, not the goriest film to come to like mainstream theaters. Like I've never seen that gory. You know, there's gory independent like films that you think are snuff, but they're not. They're really graphic. But for one that came to the theater, that's the goriest film I've seen at a theater. You know.
Yeah, and I don't think anything is, unless Terrifier 4 beats it, I don't think anything's going to top that.
Right.
Because Terrifier just struck gold, but it's damn near impossible, one, to get a movie to get like that kind of traction, and two, to release something so brutal and so gory. Yeah. So hopefully we continue to see that change, because for, you know, people like yourself who kind of you tap into that style for your movies, I think that it would be a really great opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And you talked about a distributor too. So is there like a company name for this distributor?
Yeah. So the distributor, the way I met the distributor, I can't tell you, it was interesting. We met the distributor, I'm trying to think. It was actually at, I want to say it was Days of the Dead. Oh my God, let's try to think. I think it was almost a year and a half ago. And we met, it was a young guy. He came up to us and he goes, hey, we're looking for movies to be made, or looking for young filmmakers or independent films. Are you interested in distribution? I'm like, yeah. So basically, you know, when I talked to him, you know, he said you have to have a contract. You know, we'll sign this. And so I read the contract, and the one of the things was I asked making sure that I can still show my film at any convention, sell DVDs, stuff like that. And they said, no, that's fine. You can do all that. And then after I read this contract, I had my attorney read it, and it sounded pretty good. And they said, yeah, you just basically, you have the rights to, you know, sell the DVD, promote the movie wherever I want. The only thing I had to do was I had to take off what's it called, the on IMDb for a while. I had to put their new poster up, and then which is fine. And then the movie, like any DVDs or poster artwork they make for that, I can't reprint it out and sell it. I have to, you know, use my own poster. So but I think it's CSS Releasing, I think, is the name of the distributors. I think that's the name of the distributors. Yeah. So that's, and they've been great. They've been like, I'm just double checking the name. But yeah, it's I think it was CSS Distributor. So for them. So, and they were great, those guys. So
good. And you were cutting in and out a little bit. So based on what I was able to hear, so basically one of the only contingencies was that on IMDb and stuff, you had to replace what poster you had with their poster that they supplied?
Yeah. I'm sorry, the company was CCS. I had to look it up.
CCS. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, CCS. So on IMDb, the poster that was up there for Murder for Pleasure and Icing, I had to take that down and put their poster up for IMDb. And then I can still sell my DVDs with my original poster. I can sell screenings. I can do whatever I want. I just can't like print out their poster or their artwork and put it on my DVD and sell. I can't do that, which is fine. And we're going to release the poster that they made. Is really cool for Torch of the Flesh. It looks amazing. They did a new poster for the Icing, Murder for Pleasure did a great job. So I bought my own copy. It's kind of funny. I was buying my own movie. So the movies are on Amazon on Blu-ray, and they're streaming as well. So I know one of the platforms, Icing and Murder for Pleasure on Fossum. I think it's called Fossum. The Icing's on Tubi, but Murder for Pleasure was too violent for Tubi. So they made a little marketing things like the movie that's too violent for Tubi, Murder for Pleasure. So they're doing some cool marketing, trying to get more sales and everything. So,
oh, cool. And I think it's really interesting that these are projects of yours that at this point are almost 10 years old or more than 10 years old, right?
They're more, yeah, they're and it's cool. They're growing some legs again and getting some, getting out there again, which is cool. So, and right now we're actually we are making. So my buddies Michael Ramova, we've been working. We rekindled our friendship. We're back working together. It's been a long time in the making, and he's been doing a lot of helping out artwork. He's actually going to make. We did a photo shoot for Murder for Pleasure. We're doing new artwork for my artwork for Murder for Pleasure. We want to freshen it up and the icing, but I have to wait until I sell through all those DVDs first before I do that. So he's doing that right now, or eventually he's going to make posters for that. So so you might see a new facelift for those movies. So
yeah, very cool.
So yeah.
And then a final question I wanted to ask both of you. I'll start with Michael first. So, if you had what would your dream project be? If just anything in the world you could kind of think of, anything super ambitious, what would your dream project be?
Probably just an anthology series, like a creep show type show, or Tales from the Crypt, something like that.
So, like, not like just a book, but you're saying like a TV series or something, or like an anthology movie shoot,
like the Love, Death, and Robots, Black Mirror type stuff. Yeah, like an anthology show. That'll be the dream project.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Derek, what about you? Your dream project?
For me to make like a big action martial arts film, something like Rumble the Bronx, The Raid, John Wick, something like that. That I'm going that route. If I had the funding and the tools, that would definitely be it. So, and I love horror films, and I think for a while, for years, I was always like, oh, I like all genres, and then I think people always thought I liked horror the best. And I was telling my wife, I'm always like, when I'm on streaming, I'm always going for an action film, like something with martial arts, an Asian actor, an Asian action star. So I saw myself going to that more than like the newest horror film. So I for a while I think it's like, oh man, horror, action, martial arts is my top thing. So that would be great to make something like that, or to direct Stallone. That'd be great. That'd be my biggest thing, to direct Sylvester Stallone in a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how much he would cost. That probably, especially at this age, he's probably a pretty penny to get on a project.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you'll get there. You'll get there. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll eventually hit the Stallone. Havoc is coming out soon on Netflix, and it's starring Tom Hardy, and that's the director and writer of the Raid movie. So it's going to be this super violent, action-packed movie coming.
It was breaking up. What was the movie?
It's called Havoc. It's by
okay.
It's by the guy who did the Raid.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. So look out for that, because it looks ridiculous in the best way. So if you want some really high octane action,
yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah.
But okie dokie. So this is the end. Cool. I've got nothing else for you guys, so I'm going to open the floor to you again to just kind of speak on what's coming, what to look out for, and anything else you guys want to plug. Michael, you could go first.
Well, right now it's all about the Clown Dies at Midnight 2, Clown Harder. You got to get that thing made.
Yeah. Just we like I said, we need donations. I think we're 10 or 12 days left till the campaign ends, and then we'll go back to the drawing board, and but I'm just hoping it's still 12 days and we can make another couple grand. That's a nice little push. That's what I'm hoping. So the Clown Dies, Clown Harder, that's what we're trying to focus on. That's Very important project. A lot of people are excited about it. And I know our goal was 20,000. And one of the things I did put that 20,000 because I was trying to get celebrities, which right now is not happening. I was trying to get Andrew Dice Clay, but his agent said that he won't read a script unless it's funded. So that's not going to happen. So we're trying to get Dice. So in the meantime, definitely we can make the film for a lot less, maybe half of that. So if we can get 8 to 10,000, I think we'll be golden, because we got everyone working for free. Majority of people working for free, not even gas, because that's how much of a passion project it is. So very excited about that. So that's right now we're just really clown at the midnight. We're really focusing on. So
awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure to drop the link in the description here, and try to do my due diligence with spreading around the word, trying to get that Indiegogo.
You've been great. Thank you for your support, and thank you for having us on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Anything else you guys need, just let me know. And I look forward to working with you guys moving forward.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
We have a really fun script, so I think people are going to love it.
Yeah.